Hey there, beautiful Earth Angels. Elvia Rowe here, founder of AngelsTeach.com, and welcome to October Messages from the Angels. It is a beautiful, warm, early fall day here in New England, so I am soaking up the sunshine because in Massachusetts it gets cold pretty darn fast. So, welcome. And as we begin, I just want to share that there is an underlying thread through each of these three messages, and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I just want to say that from the outset because there's a lot about remembering how connected we are to all that's happening in the universe, not just in our homes, in our states, in our countries, in our world, but in the universe. And understanding that so many forces that are not necessarily seen are guiding and directing us. So, and October is known for being that time of year where the veil between the worlds is thinner. And that certainly is speaking through these messages that are coming forward for this month. So, once again, I invite you to choose number 1, number 2, or number 3. Which message do your angels have for you right now? Is it the message coming through from number 1, number 2, or number 3? So this first image is actually a wind chime that I bought for my mother while she was still alive, and after she passed away and I was cleaning out things in her condo, I brought it back here and I hung it outside in our peace yard. And it's my outdoor memorial to my mother. And every time, of course, that I see it, I think of her and just remember how much she loved me and how much I loved her. And if you chose number 1, that's part of your message. It's a big part of your message, is to remember how loved you are. Maybe you're just needing a little wink from your own mama. And the second part of it, and this is where the veils between the worlds come through, and actually this was the first part of the message that I received for this image, is that there is somebody in your lineage, a deceased loved one, who is knocking on the door and has something to say to you. So this is getting into the realm of mediumship and of speaking to deceased loved ones, and that may be something that comes easily for you or not so much. So if this is something that comes easily for you, then this is an invitation for you to really listen, and who is it that's trying to get through to you, and what is it that they have to share with you at this time. Perhaps journaling. Journaling can be a way to receive messages from deceased loved ones. I sometimes, and the angels are giving me this message right now, will receive a letter or have almost like a play kind of dialogue where it's like, dear maman, that's what I call my mom, maman, what do you have to say to me at this time? What do you feel I need to know that I'm not hearing yet? What do you have to impart upon me? And then just be open to receive whatever it is that comes through. Or again, you can do it in like a play kind of format where you say one thing and then open to receive whatever she has to say, and then you say something in response and then open up to whatever she has to say. And or if it's a male that needs to come through, that's obviously works the same way. If mediumship and hearing from deceased loved ones is a little less comfortable for you or less familiar, just be open to those winks and those nods that you might be receiving. For example, I know a lot of people who butterflies will symbolize a deceased loved one, or roses. I'm actually looking at some roses over at the end of our pool, and I have a dear friend who roses remind of her mother, because her mother had given her a rose bush. And so when she sees roses, especially this time of year when it's a little less common for them to be flowering, she always experiences that wink from her mama. So just be open to those kinds of experiences, because if you chose number 1, there's definitely this, I'm hearing invitation, although I'm also hearing urgency. This is a month we are all going through an awful lot right now, and I think that's part of the reason why we're being encouraged to really lean on our resources on the other side, including our deceased loved ones. So, be open to really harnessing all of that benevolent experience and wisdom that you can. And so, for you, number one, folks, this is your invitation to really find out what your deceased loved ones have to share with you right now. For those of you who chose number two, this is your image. It is a picture of a holly bush that's right outside our back door, and tucked underneath that, because it's a little bit overgrown at this point, is a beautiful evergreen that's a lighter color there. The message in this image is twofold, and I'm leaving it open in case the angels bring in one at the last minute here, but two that I know of. And one is about abundance and understanding the cycles of prosperity and abundance, because this holly bush, and I'm using my angelic intuition here, this holly bush rarely has as many berries as it does right now. It's been years since it's had as many berries as it has right now. It's amazing. So in this time when there's so much going on and this sense of upheaval and lack, this holly bush is just giving in this most beautiful, profound way. And holly is about the heart. It's associated with the heart. In flower essences, holly is one of the flower essences that you take for heart kinds of stuff. So the message here is to remember that things happen in cycles, and that there are cycles of abundance, there are cycles of what feels like lack, although I hesitate to use that word, because what the angels are saying and really emphasizing pretty strongly is that it isn't really lack, it's just a different experience of abundance. And we as humans love to get in there and judge and roll up our sleeves and judge away. And this is about understanding that we're always experiencing abundance. It's just a matter of how we interpret it and where we look for it. So if you chose number two, there's something about understanding this cycle of abundance and really being in that grateful heart. The second part of the message is about the whole concept of giving and receiving, so much about abundance. And there are going to be times where you just have everything to give, and you're just feeling that ability to reach out to people, to extend yourself, to just give. And there are going to be other times where it's really important for you to just kind of come in and take care of yourself and give to yourself. Again, this is another cycle, right? It's time sometimes to reach out and to give, and there's times when you need to be focusing the giving on yourself. So just like this holly bush in those years when there weren't so many berries, it was giving to itself. It was taking care of itself because it didn't have what it needed to give outwardly. So just understand that this is the second half of the message. There is, I had a feeling, a third part of the message, and that's with a little piece of evergreen coming through. As we enter fall, we are, it's a ways off, but the holidays are out there. They're a little closer than they were in July, and it's going to be different this year. And this is just emphasizing the whole cycle thing, is that my sense is that there's probably some anxiety for some folks, and how are the holidays going to be different? Am I going to be able to see my loved ones? Am I going to be able to do the gift exchanges that I've always done? It's going to be different this year, and it's just part of the cycle. It's just part of the process, and really underscoring everything that I've already said about this message. It's just that applying specifically to the holiday season, just let it be what it needs to be, and let go of the fight, let go of the resistance, because doing that just perpetuates the struggle, and you don't need that. So this third image has been an interesting experience with the message coming through. I knew that I needed to take this picture. I saw it from our terrace and I looked out at the barn and I was like, oh, those goldenrod, they're beautiful. I know that they're part of the messages for October. So I went out there and I didn't realize that there was a ladder that was hidden lying down next to the barn. And I still wasn't completely sure what the message was, and I looked up what goldenrod symbolizes, and it all made sense. Because the ladder I knew had something to do with overcoming this idea that life has to be a climb, that life has to be difficult. And then goldenrod, turns out, symbolizes encouragement and spiritual growth. How perfect is that? So if you chose number 3, this is your invitation to let go of this idea, this belief within you that life has to be a climb, that life has to be a struggle. Put the ladder down. And those beautiful flowers are encouragement on your spiritual growth. And as I say that, I'm getting this little wisp from the angels about how our challenges in life really are teaching us, and the more that we can look at them that way, and instead of, and this is kind of following up from what I said for number 2, instead of being in this space of like, oh my God, why is that happening? Be more in that space of, okay, so this is happening. It may be challenging, but it doesn't have to be insurmountable. It doesn't have to feel like this big, big thing, because the more that we think of it as this big, big thing in this climb, the bigger it is, the harder it is. So this isn't about denying feelings and sadness and emotions. Absolutely not. They need to be honored, they need to be acknowledged, and they need to be listened to if there's something that you need to learn from them. And what's ready to be let go of it. Fall is such a time of release and letting go. And I'm thinking about the moon cycle, and we are just still in the glow of a full moon. And, it's such a beautiful time to be focusing on the fullness of self. And as the moon starts to fade, what are we letting go of? Again, that theme of cycles is also coming through. So it's not just about the thinning of the veil and connecting with the loved ones and the benevolent guides on the other side, but it's also about cycles. So how does this number 3 image fit in with that whole theme of harnessing the energies from the universe? Right now, we are in the midst of major astrological stuff. Many of you guys probably already know that. And so things are going to, at times, feel really hard, seem really hard. So just know that, we are in the birth canal, and the image that I get is so much about we're birthing from here to here, and it's a channel. And, it's a process. And the heavenly bodies are helping us with this. So just realize that as you approach your challenges, your struggles, that you're not alone, first of all. And just they're just part of life. It's all good. So one last tiny little message from this goldenrod ladder barn picture is those open windows that are on the future side of the card. And that's infinite potential. That's what that's all about. So focusing on what's on the other side and knowing that it's only goodness as you put your intention through faith on the grace that's within you, that's what you create, is this infinite potential. So that is our messages from the angels for the month of October 2020. Thank you for joining me here today. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Angels Teach YouTube channel. Come on over and visit us at angelsteach.com. And as you have comments, please share. I'd love to hear your insights. I've shared what came through for me, but I am absolutely certain that you're also getting messages yourself. So please don't hesitate to share as you feel guided. And also like this video and share it with your friends. So much love, many blessings. Be well.